Hello and welcome back to Voice Notes. These are mini podcast episodes that go for about 10 to 15 minutes where I, Alex, a certified sex and relationship therapist, essentially just yap for an extended amount of time, like a really long voice note about sex and relationships. Now today, I would love to talk to you about all the things I love about sex. And you might think, that's a pretty fucking weird topic, Alex. You know? And I go, yeah, fair. However, I do think that online and in our lives, we often only talk about the hard parts about sex and relationships, and we rarely ever get to hear from other people, like, what is it that you really like about sex? Like, I could bet good money that you haven't asked your friends that question. You're mostly going, oh, what is it? Like, have you struggled with this? Or they've come to you saying, I'm struggling with this. Opposed to like, what is it that you really, really like? Some of you might, knowing my following, some of you might be that open. But for the most part, I think that we don't talk enough about the things we like about sex. So I'm just going to jump straight in. Essentially, the first thing that I really like about sex is that it's pretty funny. Like, think about it. It's a pretty fucking weird thing that we do. Like, kissing is a bit of a head fuck to me, literally and figuratively. Like, it's so weird that you put your mouth on someone else's mouth and then you like have your tongues rolling around like horny slugs. Like, it's such a bizarre and enjoyable behavior that we do. Like, I wonder if aliens came to Earth and saw us kissing and would just be like, what the fuck is that? What is that? And don't even get me started on the rest of what we do. Like, it's all kind of surreal. So I think people take it way too seriously because, like, fundamentally, sex and intimacy and intimate acts are hilarious. And I think as soon as you can reframe them as actually something that's quite funny, they become way less intimidating. And I also think that when you're having sex with people, it's like impossible not to like laugh at the like clunky little awkward moments that are inevitable. Those things happen, you know? So that's the first thing I really like about sex. And I guess how that like plays out for me is that like it means that when I'm hooking up with people, I quite enjoy laughing about things. And I feel like if someone can't laugh about aspects of sex, I'm like, why are you taking this so seriously? Now it just feels performative, you know? The second thing I personally really like about sex is that I enter like a bit of a flow state with sex where at times, not all the time, because I'm a human being after all, but at times I become like completely embodied, where like all I can experience is the pleasure in my body and the sensations I'm sharing with someone else. And that just feels like, I don't know, like when you're like skiing down a mountain or something, or like you're like catching a wave in the ocean, or I don't know, it's like, it's just this like flow state that I think when you really feel like super safe with someone and there's no expectations on like your body to perform, sex can feel like such a flow state. And that's just something I really love about it because I feel like those moments are rare. And I think it's really nice to be able to create that for yourself and with someone else. The third thing I really love about sex is actually everything that leads up to sexual behaviors themselves. So when I say sex, I mean like any sexually explicit behavior. So like going down on each other, fingering, like all of those things to me qualify as sex. It's not limited to penetration. That's partly because I'm bisexual, so I'm not always having penetrative sex with a penis and a vagina, which means that for me personally, what I love about sex is actually the build up. Like, I love flirting, I love eye contact, I love kissing. Kissing is so fun. I also like just the tension that builds before you get the like overt expression of horniness and arousal where you then start like going at it, you know? There's just this like beauty in the anticipation that I think is actually so fun and something I almost enjoy more than sex itself, depending on who I'm with. The next thing I really love about sex is that there's like so many different things you can do. It's crazy. Like you can do so many different things. You can kiss, you can finger bash someone, you can give hand jobs, you can put your mouth on someone else's genitals, or they could put their mouth on yours, or you can do it at the same time. You can also just like have a shower together. You could like use toys. You could like I'm just describing the kind of what I would consider the like fundamental things, but you can explore temperature, you can explore like sensation, you can explore pain, you can explore so many different things. And it's crazy because your body isn't a machine. Its experience of those sensations varies almost every time. So it's just like this endless opportunity for sensation, which to me is just incredible. I don't know, maybe that seems like weird, but I think at the end of the day, I'm so deeply grateful that I have a body that can experience sensation with such vastness and variety. Like that feels like such a privilege to me. The next thing I really love about sex is that it is fundamentally quite an intimate act, even when you are having sex casually. And this sounds really weird, but one of the things I like most about sex is when people lie to themselves about what sex means. I know that sounds really weird, but like, hear me out. There's this kind of romance to like the denial of, no, this doesn't mean anything, but it being like super pleasurable and meaningful. Like, I think that there's no way you can share a sexual act without it being fundamentally intimate. That doesn't mean you love someone. Intimacy is a broad term, or at least in the way I'm using it. That it doesn't mean you want to marry them. It doesn't mean you want to have babies with them. It doesn't mean you want to have a joint bank account with them. That even if you are having sex as a sex worker, someone is paying you for the intimacy that you share together. And that is largely physical, but it's still intimate, you know? That there's still a sense of a line that is crossed into the realm of intimacy when you specifically have sex. I think like even when you go get like a massage, I'm like, ooh, like there's a sense of like, I've got to let my body relax as this new person touches it, you know? That even if it's not overtly sexual, it's still physical intimacy in some way. And I think because sex requires a level of vulnerability and openness, and if you're having good sex, good communication, that is like the fundamentals of intimacy anyway. So it just seems kind of crazy to deny that, but like there's also this, I don't know why it like feels romantic. It's not romantic, but it's just like this adorableness of people being like, yeah, casual sex, whatever. And I'm like, shut up. Like that's intimate, you know? That's an intimate act, my guy. The last thing that I love about sex is that I love talking about it. I love talking about the kind of sex I had. I love hearing about the kind of sex other people have. I like talking about the things I liked. I like talking about the things I want to do more of next time, or I like talking about what it is I might like to explore more of. I really like when people are open to listening and talking about sex. One of the hardest things, I know I'm not supposed to be focusing on the negatives, but like I really struggle when people give me no feedback or no tips on like preferences. When they're like, yeah, I'm down for whatever. I'm like, can you just give me a little bit of structure, you know? And I've said this before and I'll say it again, but like it's so stressful to me because it's like going out to coffee and you're like, hey, what coffee would you like? And they go, yeah, whatever, I'm down for whatever. I'm like, bitch, I don't know. Are you a long black person or are you a fucking full fat cow's milk kind of guy? Like, how am I supposed to know? Give me something. So one of the best things about sex is actually like the talking or the communication around it. And especially when that communication is erotic, where it's like, I can't stop thinking about that thing you did, or I'm so looking forward to like tasting you. I'm just going, stop. I love it. I love this. I love my life. I love sex. Life is so good. I just love it. I just think it's like so fun that you just get to have like horny little conversations all the time. Wow. What a privilege. Anyway, so those are all the things I really like about sex. I'm sure I'm going to think of more as soon as I put this mic down, but I would also just, encourage you to think about the things you like about sex too, because you might find that it has not that much to do with the actual sex itself. And I think that's really important, because then you can create more of those things for yourself. Anyway, thank you for listening. Love you, miss you, kiss you.